नमस्कार। मैं नकुल धागट और मैं आपके साथ अपना रिकॉर्डिंग एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। ये मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन इंदौर की मीट जो 2015 में होने वाली थी, ये उसके लिए थी, लेकिन किन्हीं कारणों से ये वहाँ नहीं हो पाया। आई एम नकुल धागट फ्रॉम हार्मोनिका पैशन ग्रुप भोपाल और हमारा टैग लाइन है, हम शौक से बजाते हैं। और इसी शौक को चलते हुए हमको रिकॉर्डिंग भी करनी पड़ी और मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग में अपनी तरफ से कुछ एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश की है, जो मैं आपके साथ शेयर करूंगा। Whatever I am saying is not necessarily correct, and I'm sure you would like to correct this. The agenda of this presentation is going to be that we'll start with few assumptions, then basics of Audacity, and I'll try to show this by opening an Audacity file also at a later stage. Understanding the arrangement before recording के पहले कुछ arrangements जो होने चाहिए, those. Then the process of recording as I follow, and of course post recording editing. इस process में एक बार आपको घुसना है, उसके बाद आप then you can explore yourself and you can do it in a better way. You may try it on a different software. Most of the softwares have a similar type of platform and similar effects and things, so you can relate to different software once you are using one software. Now before I start, I must thank a few people who have always been very helpful in this journey. It was Jagjit Singh ji from Jammu who initiated my inquisitiveness on change of scale, through which I came to explore Karafan. Ajay Vijji from Singrauli, he was the one who introduced me to the Audacity software. I've had a lot of talk on with Sumanta Basu from Kolkata about recording and Adobe Audition and the types of finishes that can be done. And I remembered in Delhi, he explained to me how to reduce noise. Then from Hyderabad, Avinash Singh ji, who has always helped me, and we have had long chat on phone about types of microphones, interfaces, and he always takes an initiative in telling me कि अब आप ये चीज़ try कीजिए. Harish Nayyar, who is another person whom I must thank, जिनके पास रिकॉर्डिंग के इक्विपमेंट्स हैं, एंड ही इज़ ऑलवेज मेरे को हमेशा चुटकी लेते रहते हैं कि इतने महंगी चीज़ें क्यों खरीदते हो, आपको मैं अमृतसर से खरीद के दे दूंगा, बाकी आप इतना पैसा क्यों खर्चते हो. सो आई मस्ट थैंक हरीश एंड अनुपम पाल जी. आई रिमेंबर जब मैंने इन हरिद्वार मीट व्हेन आई फिनिश माय रेंडिशन, he came to me and told me how to keep my hand in front of mic so that I can transfer a good sound to the microphone. So I must thank him. And then I'm just one amongst many who record. So I don't claim that I know everything. I may be wrong in my this thing, but somebody has to share the recording experience, so I'm sharing it. Some of the assumptions before which we start anything. First thing is that जो भी आप सॉन्ग रिकॉर्ड करना चाहते हैं, whatever song you're trying to record, prepare it the best. Secondly, if our audio system or DAW, which is digital audio workstation, or your computer is not properly connected or earthed, then it might induce some noise. I personally feel that I should record when I am in a very relaxed and a good mood. That really brings out the best. And of course, घर में अगर आपको कुछ काम दिए गए हैं तो you better finish it. Audacity is a free software under GNU, General Public License. When you say it's a free software, the GNU General Public License is intended to guarantee your freedom to share and change all versions of a program and to make sure it remains free software for all its users. So it has been a very good platform for me. I'm sure there are many better platforms which are more professional, and I could have used those, for example, Adobe Audition, Nuendo, SoundForge, etc. Now there are so many platforms on the smartphones also, like GarageBand on Mac phone. So a lot of these are there, and you can choose any one of them to do your recording. Whenever you open Audacity page and you save it, the saving of a program, for example, in MS Office, MS Word, when you save a file, it's a doc file, and you in an Excel, it's an .xls file. In Audacity, when you save something, you are actually saving a project. A project is a combination of lot of files and one file which connects it to it. So Audacity is .aup file, and whenever you save it in a folder, this is what you find. You find lot of these folders and these file names. So if I double click on any of these files, then it will open, and if I say open experiment 3, then experiment 3 data will get linked to it, and it's going to operate that way. So wherever you save your Audacity project, you will find first thing this thing, that is the name, that is .aup, and then of course you have the data folder which links to it. This is the page of an Audacity when you open Audacity, and it has lot of important things. This is the opening screen. It has the editor tools which are here, which allow you to select, move, zoom, and there are a few more options which I have not used. I generally use the select or the move command, which is very useful for me. Then of course you have the media player contents, where it is come back to the beginning of a track, play a track, record a track, pause a track, stop a track, or go to the end of the track. Then this is copy, cut, paste tool, which is here. This scissor is cut, then copy, paste, and then this is silence. You can use this to silence a certain piece of music without cutting it, and so you will not reduce or change the length of the total audio, but you'll silence a certain piece. This of course is for zoom in and zoom out. This is one track, which in this case is a mono track. This is second track, which is a mono track. From this place, you can actually change the name of this track, and the name will come in this window. I can get the name in this window, and this blue thing on each track shows the sound which has got recorded on that particular track. Now the arrangement before recording is, you need the hardware. You should understand the correct time of recording. You should understand what is the best possible raw sound which you have recorded before applying any effects. And then there are a few tips which I can share, which I would do. Now in my case, my laptop is my digital audio workstation, or DAW, and it does a very good job for me. Then I have an amplifying interface and its cable. I have an M audio, M track interface. Then of course my mic, which is an omnidirectional mic and with an XLR cable. I have a mic stand with a pop filter, which could be optional. A headphone to listen to the track with which I am recording. So I have this mic with a pop filter, which is connected through an XLR cable to my amplifying interface. In this case, this is the one which I use, M audio, M track, and this is then connected to my laptop through USB cable, which comes with this interface. And then I have a mic which gets connected to the audio interface so that I can listen to the track from this. Now you have a lot of such gadgets available, and there's a wide range of gadgets which are there. And you have, Shure has a good range of microphones. You have normal computer headphones with mics. I have done recording with that also. You have a high-end USB mic. You may have a cordless mic like this. As an audio interface, I have used the Intex computer speakers, and the backside you have panel for line in. I've also used a conventional music system of Sony to take line to amplify my sound. And this is a Behringer USB audio interface, which is again very high-end thing. Now point is, the more you spend, the better or equipment you can get, and of course it is going to affect the sound which is being produced. Now once the whole setup is done, you need to understand where you should stand to record, because it's the mic on which you are giving sound. And if the mic is not placed properly, or if you are not giving the sound properly to the mic, your basic raw sound getting recorded may not be of that good quality. So there is a distance factor related to the mics, and generally they say that if you have an omni mic, then close miking should be done. In my case, I have an omni mic, and as you can read this underlined line, an omni should be placed closer to the sound source than a uni, about half the distance, to pick up the same balance between direct sound and the ambient sound. And it is around 1 to 30 centimeters. So if I read this completely, because directional microphones pick up less ambient sound than omnidirectional types, they may be used at somewhat greater distance from sound sources and still achieve a same balance between the direct sound and background or ambient sound. And an omni should be placed closer to the sound source than uni, about half the distance, to pick up the same balance between the direct sound and the ambient sound. So I generally keep between 1 to 30, and you can see this, check this in my videos also of recording on YouTube. Now the time of the recording, you need to choose the correct time of the recording. Why should you choose the correct time of the recording? You will have a lot of external or ambient sound around your recording space, and you need to choose a time. If it is not a dedicated recording studio, then you need to choose a time where you get minimum ambient sound, so that you need to treat it minimum to reduce the noise. So if I refine the ambient sound, then it's a common ambient sound include the wind, water, birds, crowd, noise of office noises, traffic, etc. around that space. So an ambient sound is the ambient audio, ambience, atmosphere or background noise, means the background sound which are present in the scene or location. So if I'm recording in a room, then other than my sound which I want to record, there are other which are there in the background, and they will also get recorded. So I need minimum of this ambient sound. Now I found it to be less at night, and you need to check it at your place. You might be at on a very tall building at a very high floor, you might get it less. Or if you have a dedicated soundproof recording room, then any time may be good. Like I did an experiment. I downloaded a sound meter app on my phone, and this is what I found, that early morning without fan it was 41 dB, afternoon without fan it was 52 dB, evening with no fan it was 44 dB, 41 decibel was night with no fan, and 71 was night with fan on. So when there is fan, that also increases the sound. 60 dB is normal conversation at 3 feet. So I found this night time to be the best one. You could check it at your place. Now I was not very much technical about the sound and the decibel part, so I, with experience, try to judge this sound. So the best possible raw sound is something which has no or minimum noise. Noise, we are saying the sound other than what you are producing through your harmonica. And I personally feel without any effects, which means normal treble, normal bass, I would treat this treble and bass in my post-recording effects. I may be wrong on this. If I am wrong, please do correct me and let me know. I would generally look for a very dead sound, which is no or minimum reverberation. Now there could be a difference of opinion in this also. Slight reverberation, people might accept that also. I have also accepted it many a times. but we'll understand why reverberation is not acceptable. So I would take dead sound with zero reverberation. Now, what is reverberation? Let us understand. Reverberation is when, suppose, somebody at this source is giving out sound by talking or by speaking or by some music instrument. One is directly this is going to the listener. Second, it is getting reflected through various surfaces and it reaches. So each of these reflected sound might be reaching at a different time, and that gives you a prolonged, longer sound. And that is the reverberation. Now, reverberation, if you see some of the software, gives you examples like it is something like a hall or an auditorium or so a lot of examples are there. I generally have not taken that as my as a good thing in my recordings. I generally use an echo for this. Now, some of the important tips which are there is that you need a dedicated space for recording, because you need to set up all your equipment there. Then, of course, I use a pop filter, because a pop filter reduces the sound of the air, that is a popping sound. This sound, it reduces the air reaching the mic. So it may not cut it off. You might have a good pop filter, it may cut it off completely. I don't know about that, but what I read about it, that it reduces that air which might be striking your mic, and thereby it reduces that sound produced because of that. This is the pop filter. If you have a stand mic, then put a rug or a dari in the room. Put your mic over it, and the dari becomes an absorbing surface within that volume. So it might dampen a lot of reverberation. I put a cloth under the mic stand so that if there is any movement in the mic stand, it does not pick up, or it is not picked up by the mic. Always recording has many a times given me a very dry mouth, so I keep a glass of water with me, which I can use. And then make sure that you switch off your fan, your mobile is in flight mode. There are no other online tabs like Facebook or mail which might produce a sound if, say, a notification comes or a mail comes. So let that not be there. Now, the process of recording is that first thing is you should check the audio recording and playing settings, which you can set on this part. This meter tells you how much is the recording level for the mic, and this tells you the output level of the speaker. So somewhere 3/4, this is full, half. So between half and 3/4 you can keep your mic setting. You have to drag your karaoke track into the Audacity workspace. You can actually pick it up from the file, from the Explorer, and then just drag and drop it there, or you can open it from the file menu. Align the track depending on the time available at the beginning, and we'll go through this again. And then check the recording volume of the mic, and keep a reasonable zooms of the total track so that you can identify when the track is ending, and if possible identify the interludes also. And when you start recording, you change your harmonica track recording to be mono, right? That is to start with. This is what I was told, and that's how I use it. Now, I generally try to do a full song in one go, and because of that, there are a lot of times I do multiple recordings. So there were 5-6 बार मैं एक ही गाने को बार-बार record कर लेता हूँ, and this is my personal approach, because it helps me for a live performance also, that I should be able to play it live. But the software allows you to record it in part and make it complete. So there is an append record which can be done. So whatever way you want to do, you can do it that way. keep that safe distance from mic that allows both good audio and free hand movement. So the 30 centimeter distance or 15 to 30 centimeter distance is useful so that the hand tremolo or vibrato can be easily done. And hold the harmonica in such a way that there is no obstruction of sound from the harmonica to the microphone due to your hand. So your hand should not cover the back of the harmonica completely, because the sound has to reach the mic completely. So mind your hand vibrato position. Now a typical screen before editing is something like this. Now this is the karaoke track which I can move from left to right or right to left using this particular command. And then I have so many recordings which I have done, so many recording of the same song I have done, and finally one of them I would choose as my final to finish and edit. Earlier I was saying that I checked since I was not taught, I have not learned this formally, so I started checking my audio through their visual, and see, these are the same thing played but with different setting. Now the first one was done using intake speaker as amplifying unit, so it did not amplify much. The second one is from the M audio M track with 25% amplification on the M audio M track. This is M audio M track with 55% amplification, and this one is M audio M track with 75% amplification. And finally I have this, which is M audio M track interface with 100% amplification. So you can see this visually, this blue thing has changed drastically. This one I take as a healthy one, which is reaching the edge of the track, but it does not go much beyond that. And as we go on the upper side, we are going for a much weaker signal, so I'll have to treat it much more. And if I amplify it, that if the sound is getting amplified, then every sound, be it harmonica sound, noise, disturbance, everything is going to get amplified. And this one is excess sound, because this is so much of sound that I may not actually get a good raw sound. So this one is a healthy thing, which visually I found was quite healthy, and I would go with this. Now why did I say it was visually better? Because if you see this one, what is happening, there is a lot of sound which has gone beyond this limit or beyond this. That is termed as clipping. When you say clipping, then in digital audio, if the amplitude of a signal goes beyond a digital system's limit, then the rest will be discarded. So anything going beyond will get discarded. So your sound information is getting discarded. This is called clipping, and a large amount of definition can be lost due to this. So इसलिए that healthy one is very important. This happens when amplification goes beyond a certain limit, and then the amplifier will clip the input signal. Instead of a smooth sine wave being produced for normal audio, a square waveform, which is the clipped one, is produced, resulting in the sound distortion. So if you see this, this is a normal sine wave, and hard clipping happens when this becomes flat, and when this gets reduced, this is soft clipping. So we are losing this much definition of sound from the recording, which you do not want to do. So you want a healthy looking sound on your Audacity screen. Now we'll be doing this again on an Audacity screen, and now I'm going for the post recording editing. After this recording has been done, what do I do? Now this is a typical screen which is here. The first thing which I do is that whenever I record, I do not put effects on the first recording which I have done or the recording which I have done. I make a copy of it and then I do the effects on this, because Audacity, unlike Adobe Audition, does not allow me to switch off or on an effect. Like Audition allows me to disable an effect or enable an effect, but Audacity does not allow. So what I do is I rename my sound which I've recorded from harmonica as something, say, XYZ raw, and then I again copy it and rename it as XYZ raw doctored. So I know which doctored means that I am changing it. So this one is raw and this is raw 1 doctored. I can rename this. Now the first effect which is very important is for me to get rid of all the noise that was also recorded. Audacity does a very decent job of doing that. This is available in the effects command on the top toolbar. You have file, edit, view, transport, tracks, generate and effects. So when you click on effect, you have a lot of these effects which you can further see the list beyond this, but there is something called noise reduction. Now how does noise reduction work? Noise reduction works that you first tell the software what is it that you're calling as noise. So it should first recognize that this is what is noise. If you choose harmonica piece as noise, then it will whatever that equates with it, whatever that relates to it, whatever is equal to it, it is going to minimize that. So for the first step is select a small piece somewhere where there is noise and there is no harmonica. Select that, click on noise reduction from effect, and there is something called get noise profile. Click on that. So once you click on noise, get noise profile, it knows that okay, this is what is called as noise. Then what you do is select this whole track from where you want to reduce noise and click on noise reduction from effects, noise reduction, and then press OK here. And once you press OK, then the whole thing, the software picks up that noise which you have defined from the whole track or from the selected part and minimizes it. Now don't do this many a time. This I tried many a times and I should do it many a times so that it cleans it very much. But what happens is, it in the process of reducing noise, it is also distorting your main sound of harmonica. So if you repeat it many times, it is going to induce a sort of distortion. So don't try to do it. Second thing which you can do is you clean the blank spaces between the harmonica. So if this is a harmonica piece, before this there is a blank space. So select this and from here silence this, from this part silence this. So step 1 is select this piece. Step 2, go to the silence piece and click on this and it will going to clean this. This is what is the one which I have enlarged here, and this is going to clean. So wherever you want to clean it, just select that piece and use this command to clean that space. Precaution, very important precaution. Do not accidentally clean the beginning or the ending of any piece. So your choice has to be very cautious so that you don't clip any of the harmonica piece. So because this may spoil the rendition with an abrupt start or an abrupt ending. Then I choose the next effect is the compressor. What is compression? The compressor effect reduces the dynamic range of audio. One of the main purpose of reducing the dynamic range is to permit the audio to be amplified further without clipping than would be otherwise possible. So what I am doing is that if you see these are two pieces. In this this one is uncompressed and this one is compressed, and you can see that this range, this was high and this was low. This has been reduced to some effect and this has been increased. So this range is reduced. Finally, when I reduce this range, then if I amplify it, then everything gets amplified in a very proper way. If something is very high and then I amplify, in this case, see, this is almost touching the edge, but when I sorry, this one is, I'm sorry, this is wrong. This one is the compressed one, this is uncompressed one. So in this case, see, this is uncompressed and this is compressed. So this has got reduced, the highest point has got reduced and the lowest point has been increased to some level. And these are the settings which I use, and especially this ratio, I use 3:1. Normalizing is the next effect which I use. Now normalizing is use the normalize effect to set the peak amplitude of a single track. Make multiple tracks have the same peak amplitude and equalize the balance of left and right channels of the stereo tracks. Now in this case, then once I have compressed it, I can normalize and increase the amplification to a certain limit. So now this one is a compressed one only, and this one is compressed and normalized. So and if this is the normalized window, it does two things. First, it normalizes it, and the second is it removes the DC offset. You might find some DC offset, something like this. If there is a center line, this is going offset beyond that. So if you click on remove DC offset, it removes it and places it centrally. I have never had a chance to remove the DC offset because everything has come right in the center. Then since I am always on some middle octave I play, so I have to use the bass treble effect, which is again in the effects window. Now the amount of understanding treble is that the amount of gain, that is amplification above 0 dB or increase below, or attenuation reducing below 0 dB to treble, high frequency. Now set this to a positive amount to boost the treble or to a negative amount to reduce. So if you increase this value, it makes the sound shrill, and if you reduce this value to negative, it makes it soft. And when you apply the effect, say this is for -15, this has got reduced in size. This has got reduced in size. So you'll find this change happening when you take treble in the negative direction. When you open bass treble, this is the type of window which comes. So I generally take -15 as my treble and 0 as bass and press OK for it to make my harmonica sound soft. I have not used bass generally because I didn't find the necessity of using it. Now you can try playing with this number, -15, -10, -20, try -50 and see what are the changes that happen. One very important command in effects is fade in or fade out. Now I may like my sound to start in a very smoothly and end very smoothly. So if you see this one, this is without fade in, and when I use the fade in, and this is a 0.1 second sample from here to here, this is how this has changed. So it has started very smoothly. So you may like to use this somewhere. And this is very important. So you can use this to beautify your recording. Now the same process goes for fade out also. You might like to end a piece in a very smooth way. So use this fade in, fade out very judiciously, and it's a very good tool to make your rendition more beautiful. Have I tried equalization? No, but it offers a lot of equalization. There are some presets. You can always play with this to apply to your harmonica sound. And finally, I do not use reverb, but I use echo in my on my harmonica audio, and echo makes it more lively. Now it has few values. It has delay time and it has a delay factor. Now, if you see in this, delay time is the length of each echo. How much should be the length? And decay factor is how much it should reduce. That is how much it should reduce after subsequent echo. So x-axis in this case is the time delay between each echo, and y-axis is the amplitude of each subsequent echo. So it is going to reduce, the sound is going to get extended and get reduced like this. And you need to give value to this. I have experimented a lot. I have experimented a lot with this, and when you open echo window, you'll find delay time default as 1 and decay factor default as 0.5, and this value is always between 0 to 1. 0 means no echo and 1 means never ending echo, because if the decay factor is 1, that means the same level of sound will keep on, it will keep repeating. These are the values with which I have experimented, and I use some of these values, and you can choose any one of these and then you can create your own one also. So 0.18 delay time and 0.2 decay factor, 0.18 delay time, 0.22 as decay factor, 0.2 as the delay time, 0.22 as the decay factor, and 0.2 as the delay time, and 0.32 as the decay factor. This is through trial and error, and I've tried to work it out. You can create your own setting combination, and based on the choice of sound which you think is good, and use this. Now, what is the difference between echo and reverb? We have already understood that in earlier. And why do I prefer echo? Is very simple, because I don't want my echo to be random, something like reverb. I want it in a very systematic way with a proper delay time and decay factor. So I generally prefer echo. If you prefer reverb, you can always try that. Now once you've put in all this and you have checked the combination of audio between combination of audio of the karaoke and the harmonica, you can also play with amplify and get a right combination of this, and then you can export the whole thing as a complete final audio combination of the karaoke track and the harmonica rendition. The export audio comes in the file menu, so we go to file menu, there is export audio, and once you click on export audio, it gives you a choice where you want to save this, and save as type. Generally when it's a fresh Audacity downloaded, it will give you WAV format, it will give you MP3 format also, but it will ask you to download lame.dll and install that. So once lame.dll is installed, you can get an MP3 format also. It can give, if the net is connected, it can give you a link also from where you can download it. It will install. Once installed, then you can export it as MP3 file also. Now there is one factor which is termed as latency. You should understand. If your audio system is not very good, that means if your computer is not very good, then there is a possibility of latency. Because the latency, if you see the definition, refers to the delay between the time the audio enters the computer and the time Audacity is able to record it to a track, and this is in milliseconds. So when you're recording, you might think that you're recording exactly at the same time, but you'll find there is a latency, slight delay in what your sound is as against the place where actually it should be. In my case, latency comes when I copy the raw sound again as a doctored sound. So mind you, please check. Zoom in so much that you can find, like in this case, I can find that there is a latency, and then I will have to cut this much part to bring it to the exact position. So always check for it. There is a possibility that if your computer is not supporting correct length, or is not having enough hardware level, then there is a possibility of latency. So don't get scared about it. You can always bring it front by just moving it in front. And then of course you can record this on, nowadays such better audio devices are there on the smartphone itself. So you have GarageBand, Quartz Audio, and a lot of other N Studio, and a lot of other things are there.